Breaking news. Welcome to today's headlines. Nnamdi Kanu, Biafra project may consume you. IPOB replies Malami. Nnamdi Kanu, Biafra project may consume you. IPOB replies Malami. To my dear listeners from wherever you're listening from, please stay tuned as I read today's news. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has described it as clownish for the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, AGF, Abubakar Malami, to say whether IPOB's detained leader, Nnamdi Kanu, would be released from detention is dependent on the Southeast governors and politicians. The separatist leader has been detained by the Department of State Services, DSS, since his extraordinary rendition from Kenya to Nigeria in June 2021. Last Thursday, a three-man panel of the Appellate Court in their ruling discharged and acquitted Kanu. However, the AGF has insisted that Kanu was only discharged, not acquitted. Hence, the IPOB leader would remain in detention. In a statement by its Media and Publicity Secretary, Ima Powerful, on Tuesday, IPOB described Malami's claim that the unconditional release of Kanu would be determined by Southeast governors and politicians as unintelligent, disgraceful, and incoherent. IPOB therefore asked the AGF to desist from chasing after the opinions and decisions of Southeast governors and politicians and obey the Appellate Court ruling by releasing Kanu from detention without further delay, as Kanu's continued detention is violation of his fundamental right. The statement read, "The attention of the global movement and family of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has been drawn to the unintelligent, disgraceful, and incoherent statement credited to the Attorney General, Alhaji Abubakar Malami, to the effect that the Igbo governors and politicians will decide whether Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be released unconditionally." What a clownish statement from the Chief Law Officer of Nigeria. A son, for that matter, who should know better. Such illogical statement from the Nigerian government and its officials is one among many justifications for calling Nigeria the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. IPOB believes that these Igbo governors and politicians that Malami wants to turn into a reviewing panel of the judgment of a competent court of jurisdiction, the Court of Appeal know the game and evil intention of the AGF and will certainly not fall for his Greek poison packaged in the deceptive form of making them relevant. IPOB can confidently posit that these governors and politicians are more intelligent than the Fulani quota system, Attorney General and Minister of Justice of the Federation. These Fulani terrorists sponsoring government think that their divide and conquer tactics will work for them this time around in their attempt to try and shift the responsibility of the continued illegal incarceration of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra on the governors and politicians of Southeast extraction. Their agenda to create confusion and more problems in Igbo land won't work. We will not allow them to do this again to our people. IPOB wants to ask Malami, when did Igbo governors and politicians become a court of superior mandate in Nigeria to decide if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, our leader, will be released unconditionally or not after the Appeal Court, the second highest court of competent jurisdiction, has made a well-reasoned ruling already. It seems Malami does not have the buckle to approach the Supreme Court now that the aeroplane turner is no longer in charge. Hence, the desire to supplant and foreclose that channel while trying to implicate governors and politicians of Southeast origin. Igbo governors and politicians should understand this gimmick before going to any meeting that the Caliphate government will call them to. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was discharged and acquitted by the Appeal Court, not by Igbo governors and politicians. But if any Igbo governor or politician chooses to be a willing tool and a useful idiot of the Caliphate, let that soul take over the responsibility of deciding if Ohamadike will be released or not. We dare that individual or group. Malami and the APC government must release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally, as declared by the Appeal Court and recommended by the UN Human Rights Working Group, without delay, because he committed no crime known to either local or international law. So my dear listeners, now I've come to the end of our today's news. Please do drop by the comment